Hey there, AMC Turn fans. Welcome to another episode of the Turn After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 8, The Belly of the Beast. And guys, not only is there a lot of awesome stuff to talk about tonight, but we also have a very special guest. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey there, everybody. It's nice to see that we have a full panel this evening. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Wow, it was almost like I was actually at work doing spy things. I swear to God, I was at a work conference that was spy themed.
It's kind of amazing.
It was amazing. This was planned like 6 months ago.
But not only are we here, but we have a special guest joining us tonight.
Howdy, everybody. How you going?
Hey. Well, let's not waste any time. Hey, Turn fans, how's it going? Tonight we're talking about The Belly of the Beast. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can follow me all over the social media at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
Our special guest and probably MVP of this episode,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
Dan Henshall, how are you tonight?
Good.
Woo!
Good.
AKA,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Caleb is one of the most likable parts of this show, so it's a huge honor to have you here tonight.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Chat says Fuzzy Bear is real. Thank you, Heather Smith. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And we have a couple first-timers here.
Yeah, hey everybody in the live chat, how you all doing? I'm also Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin, that's TheMenguin. For those of you in the live chat, all of you first timers, hey guys, we hope you're having a good time tonight. Katie's gonna keep you covered on that in case you guys have questions for our special guest. And also we're going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVTurn on Twitter because we know you guys have lots of feels about this series and we feel those feels as well.
So many feels.
So many feels.
This was a horror movie at the end of the episode there.
Oh,
like,
should
dang.
we just kind of start talking about like the huge thing in this episode, which was kind of the climax, I guess?
Yes.
That's
on my mind.
Well, I want to
I don't know about you.
I want to talk to our guest first because this is the first. Unlike a lot of the other guests here, this is your first time on our panel tonight.
Yeah.
So to kind of start things off, how did you get involved in this series?
How did I get involved?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah, I know that's going like way back.
going back. Yeah, we shot the pilot in 2013. I was in Sydney, my home country of Australia. I think I was doing a play at the time, and an audition came up, and I put down a tape. And it went quite well, obviously. And I got invited to be a part of the pilot. And we shot that April 2013, and the rest is history. We started shooting the
No
first
pun
series.
intended.
Yeah. First up off the bat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Usually
You're
that's my
welcome.
job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We got that one out of the way. Yeah, so we started shooting the first season at the end of 2013. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and as I said before, Caleb is one of the most likable parts of this show, and I think probably what's so great about him is you look like you're having a ball
Oh, I am.
playing him. What was your impression of him the first time you actually got to play with him on set?
There's a little bit of history out there, or the book is a great resource.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Rose's book is a great resource, so I pilfered that for as much as I could preen about the character, and then I did a bit more research online and went up to DC and sort of went through a couple of museums and a library, and forgive me, the name of the library just left me, but it's a pretty important library.
Library of Congress?
That's the one. Sorry, guys. It's pretty important. Yeah, the biggest one. Yeah.
It has books and
Yeah,
stuff.
books
I mean,
with words and things.
I mean, you've seen one library, you've seen them all.
Right.
oh, friend. Oh, friend.
No, this is a very special library. So what we got from that was someone who was boisterous, loyal, not afraid to take it to the enemy. And so, I mean, I think in history's pages, he's said to be quite tall, not Australian. So we had a little bit of poetic license within that, and sort of the writers created this happy-go-lucky, very loyal friendly, violent, comical character that has great bravado, and I just relished, I love being physical, love getting up on the horse, love breaking the earnest edge, that is Benjamin Talmadge or Abe Woodhull, with a wisecrack, so I just relished the chance to pull on those leathers and get amongst it. It was very good fun, from the outset.
Yeah, well, that's how it started. This season, though, for Caleb's been a little bit rougher. So kind of going into the fourth and final season, there's kind of a lot of emotional baggage there because it is the final season and it is wrapping up everything. But what were your thoughts when you kind of looked at what Caleb's arc was going to be for the final season of the show?
Oh, I was stoked. It was completely a polar opposite to what we'd seen of him. And we got to really push the boundary of where we could take him, and it's always nice to be given the opportunity to really take a character that you know and love, and push them in a completely opposite direction and see what that makes them do and how that turns out. So the writers were, gave me that gift to really push that, and I was lucky enough to do some of those great scenes opposite some of my good buddies in the show, and we really got to push the boundaries of emotion and physicality, and explore PTSD and in a really sensitive and real manner, and I've relished it. It wasn't necessarily always easy, but it was great fun, if I can say that.
We actually have a question in the chat about that from Heather Smith, who is evidently a first-time live viewer. Hello.
Hey, girl, hey.
The scene with Caleb confessing to Ben about how much Simcoe terrorized him deserves an Emmy nomination at the very least. How long did it take to prepare for that scene?
That's very kind, Heather. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was 7 episodes in, so we're probably 3 months into a 4-month shoot, and
so really not a lot of prep time, huh? You
No.
guys just kind of have to go into it.
Yeah. I mean, lucky enough to get the script, like maybe a week out before we start shooting the episode. But you've been living in that mindset for a time, and I think that was Libby's episode, and she wrote this beautiful scene with so much nuance that it was fairly easy to understand what was going on, but the execution was something that we played with on the day. I think we did that in about, we were losing light, we didn't have a great deal of time, but when you're working with Seth Numerick and the director of that episode, Omar, it was a great collaboration, and we were able to come up with what we did, and sometimes it's best to have time against you because it really pushed us into a vulnerable position, which was great for the scene.
Yeah, we, to kind of go off of that, we have Red and Toby in the hashtag wanting to thank both you and the creators of the show. Thank you so much for dealing with the issue of PTSD, which is still a major problem for the military today. And they didn't even know what it was back then. It didn't have a name.
No, absolutely not. No, and you didn't talk about it either. It was just get on with it, buck up.
Yeah, there's no time.
Well, Mara Jade in chat says back then they called it melancholy. They called a lot of things melancholy, guys. We had 4 options. That was one of them.
That's when people died of heartbreak.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the black bile. You got to drain it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think, even in this series.
Medicinal practices.
I mean, in this series, they were doing bloodletting.
I know.
Like, was that season 1 or Yeah, they did bloodletting. It was like, why was that a thing?
Get the leeches. No, you need all of your blood. It's
that
supposed to
when-
stay in your body.
Judge Woodhull got shot.
Yeah, that
it's
was
leaking out all the pus in the blood.
That's not how that works.
His series does not shy away from the historical accuracy, especially the parts that we don't like to think about as a modern society.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit 2 weeks ago, but like it's so much fun seeing kind of the day-to-day of like, that's what life was really like for people back then. But then there are other details where you're like, I didn't need to know how they went to the bathroom. That was not at all something that...
It's all inclusive. I think it gives you a great overall understanding of what it may have been like. It's a great interpretation and a representation of what these men and women were going through on a daily basis. And it doesn't necessarily glorify everything. It makes it as hard as it was. I think that's one of the great qualities of the show, and one of the things that we all really appreciated in the writing as performers, and asked to enact that. It was privilege. It wasn't just the glamour of winning wars, and you know, there was
Yeah.
everything that goes in behind that.
We've said this more than once. This isn't the movie The Patriot, which is fun,
Right.
but like that's kind of, I don't want to say it dumbs it down because it's a good movie in and of itself, but history was a lot more nuanced than that.
Yeah. And I feel like after 4 seasons of the show, we really have that. We get to see people on both sides. We get to see Abe's little friend. Oh, buddy.
Oh,
Oh, buddy.
You talking about Sturridge?
Yes, it's
bless his heart.
actually really funny. One of our co-hosts for other shows that we do, Alexis, she actually started texting me. She's like, I don't watch Turn, but I am in love with this actor, and I'm so happy that he gets to be on the show that you and Katie watch. And I was like, oh, that's nice. 2 days later, he dies.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
if you guys are wondering who's responsible, Alexis is the one responsible. She's the one that killed him.
Crit fails a dexterity check, literally shoots himself in the leg, and friend. Oh, friend. But Catch Me was a stroke of brilliance.
Yeah, and again, he was like, I just wanted to be brave for once in my life. And that's his opportunity.
Yeah.
That's like, it was a very brave thing to do.
Yeah. Great sacrifice.
It was awful though. But like, that's also something that we're talking about, like not glorifying the past.
Right.
That's a thing that happens. Sometimes you don't go out in a blaze of glory. Sometimes it's just a stupid mistake or a misfired gun, and that's what ends it. Ugh.
Well, and just deserters being a thing, deserters being a known issue for both armies. And it's like, well, that's how we deal with it.
Right.
Because the British Commission is worthless. You can't sell it anymore because everyone knows they're losing.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's and I love too that he's like that. I didn't want to. I wasn't even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks from retirement,
Yeah.
and
This is supposed to be an easy gig.
Yeah. I get some money. I get a roof over my head.
Yeah,
get some food.
my dad gets off my back for
Yeah.
a little bit, and I love when this show goes out of its way to show you just how human the Redcoats were, because again, they're not just faceless bad guys like they are in a lot of other things.
Absolutely.
God bless Childhood's Hour in chat. They're saying something that we have been yelling for multiple seasons. Abe needs to stop talking spy stuff without checking the surroundings or within earshot of people. Hashtag shake my head. Like, yeah! Abe is the worst spy! Turn is basically a show about people who shouldn't be spies being spies, and then people that society thinks shouldn't be spies being the best spies.
Right.
Yep. I mean, the ones that
I'm talking about Anna and Mary.
Oh, how great! Megan is just killing it as Mary this year.
Yes,
Oh,
oh my
it's so
God,
good.
she's
And
amazing.
It's so wonderful to watch, especially in this episode when she,
yeah.
she convinces Caleb to go down. She realizes what needs to be done. She starts pulling that plot with Anne. She's trying to save Anne from. I mean, you get the whole picture, right? Like the human connection and then the things that must be done to win the war.
Yeah, because we were talking with a friend of ours about that, and she felt like, she's like, I don't know, Mary seems like an underdeveloped character for me. I'm like, you haven't been watching this show.
Right,
You haven't been
right.
watching the same show that I've been watching.
Particularly the last 2 seasons, right?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
up until this week, she was the one that got closest to killing Simcoe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
up until this week,
Yeah.
it was her. We have a
Absolutely.
Ranger Danger shirt with a rifle on it, and that's for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
But I love.
and then you broke that record.
Well, I mean, it was
We'll talk
a combination between me and Ava.
Yeah.
It was a team effort.
That was a
really.
team effort.
Yeah.
That was definitely a team effort.
But like talking about that scene, talking about how great it was that Mary and Caleb did get to have this moment together. One of the things I really like about this season as a whole is that we are getting to see characters who haven't had a lot of opportunities to play off of each other, getting to act in scenes together.
Yeah.
And so it must have been really nice, like getting a couple scenes with Megan this season.
It was great.
Oh,
Particularly great. I mean, the scene in, I think, episode 5 where she gives it to me was fantastic. And then, helping Caleb, giving him some hope, pulling him out of his fusion, reminding him who he is, was, I don't know if Caleb would have come back from anything if she hadn't stepped up and said it, because it comes from the most unlikely person, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's great because there is that like family friend connection there, but at the same time, a lot of his closest friends don't know how to talk to him about what's happened to him. So it's kind of nice to have somebody who does have a connection to him, but is removed enough to be able to actually sit down and go, hey, are you okay? And this is when we get this moment, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and she's great. I mean, she's really sucking the marrow out of every scene that she's getting this season.
Yeah, and talking about kind of her role in camp in this episode, well, we should talk about how Ben is just kind of, he wasn't necessarily the best in terms of bedside manner, but at the same time, you can't really blame him either, because there's absolutely no time to really
in a hard place.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Washington. What should be done in Washington is blinded by his pursuit of Arnold and then the recapture of New York, because I feel like he feels a great deal of shame for losing the biggest city in the Americas at the time, and then he's got to deal with his drunk PTSD friend, and then he has to deal with Anna and Mary's great, talking about consistently, helpfully, like, challenging all his sort of conceptions about women's role and who they are to him. It's a big.
Any one of these moving pieces would be a job in and of itself, and he's having to juggle all of them simultaneously.
Right.
So on the one hand, you're like, man, Ben, it's really hard watching him like be so laser focused at the detriment of his friends, but at the same time, it's like you completely understand where he's coming from.
Right.
I do love at the end that Mary just kind of cut him out of the conversation. Went to Anna like, look, this is what's happening. Like this is a thing that's occurring. She will believe whatever I tell her. What do I tell her? What do I tell her that will be like, I don't know about this military stuff, but I absolutely have this woman eating out of the palm of my hand, and I don't know how it happened. What do I tell her?
It's such a big piece of the puzzle, too, that, Ben was ready to just sort of write it off, have her arrested on sight, or like, if you can't tell me this, then obviously there's nothing more we can do about this particular situation. But because Mary put in the time to really build that trust, they have a huge opportunity here. They have basically a direct line of misinformation to Clinton.
Right.
And that's so huge.
Yeah.
And it's just, I have established this line. I need you to tell me what to put in it. And it's like, are we going to talk to Ben about this? No. No, he's kind of been a jerk to me for the past 3 episodes, so I'm talking to you because you make sense.
But he has his limits too, and talking about Washington and in this vain pursuit of New York, it's fantastic because he's making Washington is making the right decision for all of the wrong reasons.
Because history tells us it's the right decision, that the Battle of Yorktown is one of the most decisive battles of this war. So from the audience perspective, from people who have listened to Hamilton even once, or who are studying for their or studying for their AP history test or whatever, like, that this is the right decision. But being able to see it like, no, don't do it, and knowing that everyone who's telling him not to do it has a really good point is just, this is really hard to watch. Like, you're wrong, but you wind up being right.
And and here's the thing too, is right now, the only reason he's right is because there are more things at play than everybody else is aware of. They don't have the information. He doesn't have the information to justify what he wants. And
Abe does right now.
Yes, he does.
And Lafayette's like,
Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it up there, though?
Lafayette, just the bit about, no, you're not him. I speak very good English, is the point where I was just like, if I didn't love you already. I would love you more.
I
Bless.
believe on more than one occasion, Ian has said that he wants the series to end with Abe and Washington meeting face to face. I don't know if that'll happen, but like I feel like that would be.
I said that.
Maybe
That was me the last time I was in studio, like 4 weeks ago.
No, but Ian said it in the past.
Okay.
Too.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to
We've all
see.
said it. This would be great.
It'd be nice to see.
Poker face.
It'd be nice to see. 2 more weeks.
Aww.
Aww. Why? Why'd you do that for? Aww.
You're just like mentally eating popcorn watching us theorize, aren't you? Like, wow, that's an interesting opinion.
I can tell you what, the next 2
Popcorn
episodes are
gif.
pretty exciting.
Oh, that's
Well,
Yeah.
it's the series
Pretty-
finale. I
yeah,
hope so.
Yeah.
It's the penultimate episode and then the series finale. So I.
A lot of what you're talking about kind of may or may not happen in the next 2 episodes.
That's our entire career as after show hosts. Is it going to happen? Kanye shrug. We'll
For
see.
those of you listening on iTunes, I encourage you to switch over to YouTube when you get the chance to see the grin that he just gave us. Because it was kind of fantastic.
And we have people asking, any hints what happens in the series finale?
Guys,
well,
no
I would
spoilers.
imagine that the
Stop
war
it.
ends. And
Spoiler
some people
alert.
will probably die because it's a war.
Spoiler alert, America wins.
Yeah.
Hashtag America.
I mean, I actually looked up the episode titles because I was just on the wiki, and one of them, I believe, is called Yorktown. So, guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
I think the last episode is called Washington Spies, and I'm like, oh.
Okay, then it might be next week that says Yorktown or something
I
like
don't know.
that.
I think next one's called Reckoning. I might be mistaken, though.
Well, then I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm not
That
sure.
happens frequently. Let's continue.
Let's just say Yorktown's in there somewhere, maybe.
They might go to Yorktown.
Yeah.
There might be a battle.
It's a pretty, yeah, it's, yeah.
Abe's got this little piece of paper in his messenger bag.
I feel like Yorktown is probably par for the course at this point. And I have to give this season a lot of props, too, for having more than one battle scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is not a show that's all about the front lines. This is a show that's about a lot of the behind the scenes and the politics and the interpersonal drama that went into all of that. But lo and behold, this episode starts us out on the front freaking line.
Right.
I legitimately thought that Abe was daydreaming again.
Right.
Just because the episode previous was
yeah.
like 50 ways to kill Simcoe in the West, and
It does feel like the way they open it up too, like the.
It's very dreamy. It's very
dreamy,
disoriented.
and it's the sound has been taken away. It's been yeah.
The
sucked
high
out.
pitched whirring.
Yeah.
I love when they do that.
It's very
And then
disorienting.
the bang and then the music, and it's quite contradicting. The flute
The-
and the drum and the bang.
peppy flute.
Oh.
And I'm like, was that really what it was
Yeah.
like? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness.
I think about the point I realized it wasn't a dream was when Arnold asked Cicero for a drink.
A drink, yeah.
That's a detail that Abe's not going to be dreaming about. Shoot, this is real. And just the details about this was actual fighting in the streets. This was someone got killed and their small child ran out and tried to wake them up.
Especially when
this
it's
is
your
mothers
side.
This is mothers dragging their children across the street to get out of the way of the volleys of guns. Like, holy cow. You don't really think about war like this. It's like, and then this company took this city, and then from there, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
never
this is
mind.
what taking a city involves.
Never mind all of the human collateral that comes
That's where
with that.
That's where we spent the whole time in Richmond. So it was interesting to see Richmond finally come into the fray. So that's where we sort of called home. We shot it out of Richmond for 4 years. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, actually finally getting to actually have a title card that
Yeah,
says Richmond.
yeah.
It's like, oh, wow.
yeah. We worked on a lot of the places that they actually fought. We shot a lot at Westover where Arnold and the troops and Abe's. Are we going to talk about Abe and Simcoe?
Yeah. Let's do that.
When do we not?
Really quick before we do, I do want to take a quick moment to talk to you guys about iTunes. Folks, thank you to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you, and it is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. And guys, since the show is coming to an end, we definitely want to hear you sound off with that. So please let our producers know how much you've enjoyed this show during its final final season. And not to mention that you will get a shout out on the show. I don't believe we have any new ones this week, but
Well,
guys,
I'm looking. You
I-
didn't give me a heads up.
I looked before the show. iTunes typically takes a few days before it processes. So if you left a comment yesterday, right before the show, it's not going to pop up for probably another day or two. So sorry about that for anybody who left a comment recently. We'll get to it next time for sure.
So yeah, make sure you have your comments in time for the final episode.
Yes, definitely. I'm definitely going to take like a chunk of time for like a special thanks to everybody for the final episode for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about Abe and Simcoe
Right.
because holy cow.
I mean-
Let's talk about the moment this turned into like the final act of a Scream movie.
Not
Without the
just-
phones.
No, Scream. Ghostface is too erratic with his movements and too clumsy. Simcoe is the is the classic horror movie monster of just walk. Yeah, and he
But
doesn't
prior
have to
to
run.
that, the build. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
oh
they,
my
They see each other. They have to sort of respect each other's ground.
Yeah, like nothing can be done while they're at camp.
Whose knives, whose guns, whose bare hands. No, you're ruining the metaphor.
Well,
Stop
and
it.
I love that. It's such a good. I love the parallels that this season is doing because them walking out of Arnold's office parallels when they walked out of the courthouse back in season
Yeah.
1, right before their duel.
Yeah.
And-
Although Abe stepped up.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about that dialogue is though Simcoe, you may be better at what you do, but I'm definitely better at what I do. So, and then Abe will challenge her, and Simcoe says, yes, but you don't know what it's actually like. This is what it's like. How are you going to act as someone who's never done it before?
Yeah.
I'll come find you. I mean, it's terrifying.
I mean, if there's one thing Simcoe does really well, it's being a warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he loves the battlefield. And
Yeah.
so and Abe was not meant, he's supposed to be a lawyer.
He
He's
is.
bad at being a farmer. He's bad at
Right.
being a spy. He's really bad at being a soldier.
He's good at words and bad at everything else.
He has a heart, though.
He
He
does.
has a big, big
And
old
he's a
heart.
good father.
Yeah.
This isn't a shonen anime. Heart does not make up for any other defects you might have. You can't
Well,
heart your way into spying success.
No.
You just can't.
But he's still there. I mean, like, I don't know about him. I feel like I would have given up.
Yeah.
He has so many chances to give up. And he gets trodden on continuously, episode by episode. When things are going up for him, they go back down for him.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be...
His resolve is, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's not the greatest at all those things, but his resolve, I don't know.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that he wouldn't be... And, like, this show wouldn't be nearly as interesting if he always made the right choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a perfect main character, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
That
It's
means...
Sword Art Online.
Yeah, it means there's no drama and no stakes, but because we have very fallible main characters, it means anyone could go at any time. And as we saw with poor Sutridge, it's like a small mistake can cost you your life in this scenario. And so yeah, we get the scene during the battle where Abe more than once tries to sneak away and it doesn't work. And at this point, he has no idea that Caleb is out there as well, you know, looking to save him or looking to provide him an escape. And so in his mind, no one's coming for him. Like, he's got nothing.
Oh, no, yeah, you no
I'm
idea.
not even
Yeah.
sure if,
He's
like,
out. He's
he
off to
know-
see. He's
yeah.
find the French. Get the information. Bang. He has
Yeah.
no idea.
So yeah, he gets that key piece of intel and he's like, I gotta go.
The fact that he just
jet.
he just lifted the paper right off of Arnold's table. Arnold didn't even notice it. Like, this man is so far up his own ass.
Arnold?
If he noticed details or made better decisions, he would have been able to stop so many like spying attempts on it. Just Arnold. God, Gaston in a uniform. I just
Yeah, can we
tell me I'm wrong.
That should be a hashtag.
Gaston in a
He's
uniform.
got
Right.
the ponytail and everything.
That's pretty good.
He's real life Gaston, even to the point of, you know, take care of Mrs. Arnold. The child is important to me. Her, meh. Like, wow.
But again, like the balls to take it right under his nose, like
Yeah.
just to
Oh,
slip it,
yeah.
Can
like
we talk about how
Well, when
kind of
you-
awful Arnold is to begin with? Because he's like, again, he's a smart guy when he wants to be because he can point this out. But his response isn't to try to steer everybody to the right answer. It's like, I'm going to take my stuff and bail because I only care about what's mine.
Self-interest, yeah.
Yeah.
He's made his bed and now he's lying in it. Like, nobody likes a traitor. For one, he's extremely self-interested. He's still extremely self-important. And so by the time we've gotten to the point where he has actual information that people need to know, they just discard him because, oh, it's Arnold. He's a blowhard. He's a jerk. You know, he's not really worth anything.
It's kind of nice seeing him right for once, though. For him to point out something and go, like, look, here's the thing.
The narcissist who cried wolf.
Owen would love to hear you say that. Owen's been
Well,
like,
if he's
when do I
listening."
get to be liked on the show? I mean, he does a wonderful job of expressing, you know, like the dichotomy of what it is to want to be acknowledged and not getting that acknowledgement. And then, like you say, realise he's made the wrong decision potentially, or that's how it's depicted maybe in the scene of Lust when he goes and turns to the side. But in this, it's all gone. It's far gone. You're right. So he's made his bed and it's time. Stuff it. I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to just get my own interests involved. And yeah.
We've had a great little conversation in chat about this. Shauna A. saying Arnold didn't even notice that Champ wears the uniform of Talmadge's regiment. Airedale saying Champ complimented Arnold and that blinded him to any other detail. And Mara Jade, God bless her, going as Arnold, that man paid me a compliment. Ha ha, I am God.
He was so desperate
I
for
feel
validation.
like Mara has been watching us watch these episodes because that's the kind of commentary I make. I may have yelled 3 different times whenever we had a shot framing Simcoe up to anyone else. Good God, he's tall! Just like 8,000 other things I could say, and it's still just like, he's really tall!
That is the last person you want
Staring you down.
Staring you down with a loaded weapon. And what I loved about like Simcoe in that scene where he's gunning for Abe is Abe straight up takes time to shoot at him and he does not flinch. He just goes straight. I love too that he was like, he starts calling him Culper instead of
Culper!
Woodhull.
Like,
Yeah,
oh God.
So, yeah.
It was
It's your worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's terrifying. But again, the scene is perfectly paced and perfectly shot because then we have the outset of Caleb on the outside getting ready to shoot. And I have to ask, what was your reaction when you saw the script and you're like, I hit him? I actually got him? Did I kill him?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, history tells us that John Simcoe goes and becomes who he does up in Canada, but there was that was definitely hope for me. Come on, do I kill him? Like, forgetting the history.
Come on, this isn't a history lesson. This is history adjacent, right?
Yeah, so it was very gratifying to be able to be the person who does. I think that's a brilliant way of tying that back in for the loss in the first season.
Especially since it was their conflict that put Caleb where he's at right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that I would hope that obviously PTSD doesn't necessarily just go away overnight, but I hope that moment provides him with a lot of closure.
Well, and also seeing the physical damage. Like, I was watching your arm shake while holding the gun, like, and we've built up to this with the accidentally shooting someone and missing the tree with the hatchet. And, like, I was wondering how well Caleb was going to recover.
Yeah, he's not at his best just yet. I think it's still a bit of a shock to be in that scenario of live battle, and I don't think he's coping so well, but he has a job to do and a friend to save. So does his best to push that aside and get the job done. I don't think he knows that he's hit him or not.
Oh man!
Well, because he does see them scuffling.
He goes out, and then that's it, and then he has to go because there are redcoats approaching. So I don't know if he's
aware of what actually happened.
You're in such a heightened state. I mean, you haven't got time really to grasp what's going on, and your mission is still to find the man that you grew up with and you love as a brother and a friend. So I think but that sweet bit of editing of the prayer coming back into the shot.
I did my best. Gotta go.
Sound design in this episode, top notch, guys.
Well, and Airedale commented, it wasn't Simcoe's voice in his head anymore.
Yes!
Yay! Drop the microphone.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Congratulations, Airedale. I think you've won chat for the night.
You win.
You get the chat MVP award
And the
today.
award goes to,
Because that's a thing that we're implementing just now, 2 episodes before the series finale.
It was that good of a comment.
It was that good. You have spontaneously caused the creation of an award.
Are we calling
Well
the
done.
Airedale Award? And the
Airedale
Airedale
Award.
Award. Episode 9 and 10 go to
Oh,
the next
Yeah,
year.
we'll have to remember that.
You hear that, guys? Keep those good comments coming. You might get the award next week.
You know, people are going to be campaigning for that. Do I get the Airedale Award for that? Not if you ask.
Oh man. Oh, but and no, we didn't necessarily touch on it too, but like talking about how Caleb's kind of journey this episode, just that moment where he resigns his post to let Ben know that like, no, I'm gonna go get Abe.
Right.
That was a really great moment of like reestablishing trust, and I like that it basically what brought what Anna Strong said to light. Like, you treat him as a friend, and he'll earn your
Enacted
trust
by,
back.
by Mary,
Yeah.
and not Ben. I mean, I think that's brilliant writing, and
Yeah.
and the girls did amazingly with it. Have we got time to talk about Townsend? And
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
I mean-
I do want to give a quick shout out to, again, the makeup and the effects department, because Simcoe at the end there looked wrecked. Absolutely worse for wear.
And the acting.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
act like you've
Sam's-
just gotten shot in the ribs. Go.
Yeah.
And then
broken
landed-
your back.
and then landed on
And that
a
little
pile of
whimper?
bricks. I'm pretty
The
sure.
whimper, did you guys pick up the whimper that he makes when he goes? Like, it's just
I honest
Delicious.
to
I was
God, we
kinda
were yelling for
distracted by
one.
the
Samuel
fact that it
Roken,
looked like his
monster of an
ankle
actor.
was bending in a way.
Oh,
that
it was the wrong way.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
bending.
And I honest
And
to
that
God.
look when he
like-
doesn't get shot, like he wants to be dead now because life is seemingly over. Well, I mean, I'm interpreting this.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
spoken to Sam about
Like,
but
this is-
Please shoot me in this
Yeah.
because I'm a beast. I want to be killed on the battlefield. I don't want to go on as a crippled man.
Oh, man.
I legitimately, my commentary for this, even after he got shot and took the tumble, was he's a horror movie villain. He'll be fine. And then we cut to dragging himself with the ankle bending the wrong way. And like, okay, maybe I was wrong. I was legitimately
Right.
expecting him to
Just to
get
get
back
up,
up and
bounce
keep
up.
going.
Get on the horse.
Like someone in chat said Simcoe's the Terminator a while ago. And I'm like, yeah.
You guys have got some tasty stuff next episode.
We saw the preview. Oh, yeah.
I'm just remembering some stuff that's coming. Ooh, it's tasty.
Based on the preview, yeah, we do. And we'll
Take
talk about-
another bite.
We'll talk about that when we get to predictions. But I think my favorite thing was just the camera angles when Abe is getting ready to fire at him.
Yeah.
Fantastic cinematography,
Yeah.
and I've said it more than once. The rack focuses this season are on point.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yes, they're all so great.
But yeah, you brought it up. Let's talk about Townsend.
Well,
in
there's
this
so many people
episode.
in the crew and the cast that I would love to mention, but as you keep hinting at, the crew are just phenomenal. The camera team, the focus pullers, the makeup team, they're all top notch, and they were such we were so blessed to be able to work with them and get to know them like family. They were just brilliant, and I miss them dearly. But they are first rate, and I mean, the quality of the show is clear evidence of that.
Yeah, they worked their
MVPs.
they worked incredibly hard to make this show as good as it is, and it really does show in every single frame.
We
all
spend
of that
a
hard
lot
work.
of time stopping and yelling about the cinematography and the sound design
and the lighting and
yeah, and that's when you know it's good, when we're sitting here going, oh my God, this makes it, and the photo.
Usually when it cuts to commercial, I yell something along the lines of, "The show is so good."
Just like that shot though,
Yeah.
that framing.
But let's talk about Townsend.
Yes.
Because we get to see Hercules Mulligan
Yes.
at
Yes.
the beginning of this episode.
Love Hercules.
He
What a
is
good
treat.
human.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
he is just every time he's on screen, it's just a delight.
It's a delight. Yeah.
He's so much fun, and basically what they basically decide on is that like misinformation would be the best way.
Risky.
It's risky, but it's also a really good way to put the troops into chaos. But as they point out, it would be like you can easily trace it back to the source.
Yeah, I loved Cato pointing that out, and then I love the fact that he did it anyway. Like
You see
he
him?
knew.
Yeah.
Townsend
this
has
was-
this thing where you haven't seen it in before, where he makes the decision to sacrifice potentially everything. Like before, because he's always quite pure, but almost like a very, Puritan Quaker, very But there's the decision in his eyes that he goes,
That's the right
he's
thing to
gonna
do.
it, and he's
Yeah.
going to risk everything. He's going to risk his father. Everything's going to be on the line here. And then the scene between him and John Carroll Lynch. It's
Just if I was a more pious Quaker,
Yeah.
I would have stayed out of it. Like,
Yeah.
he knew this was going to be his swan song. He knew he'd probably be caught, and he just went for it anyway. Like, good man.
What in that line of saying, if I sit on the fence, is something along
If
the
you
lines
sit
of-
on the those who sit on the picket fence are impaled
Failed
by
by
it.
it. Yeah.
Such good writing.
You get Townsend in the whole 3 seasons that we've had him, that we've been lucky enough to have him. You get him all in one sentence.
Yeah.
And Nick is just superb.
It was so good. And talking about, again, the lighting in this scene is just perfect. Just the low lamplight, shadowy look. It's so good. And basically Townsend going like, you can go ahead and turn me in, but I'll take you down with me.
It's like,
I'm
please,
not above doing that.
they'll make you a laughing stock, or they'll execute you for aiding and abetting. You can't win.
Yeah.
And we have a couple comments in
Go for
chat
it,
that
yeah.
I love. One, Shauna says, I could watch an entire show about Rivington and Townsend running a tavern. Cheers, 1783.
That would be brilliant.
And then Turnland, it was really surprising that Townsend, Mr. Quiet Panic, comes up with such a risky but brilliant plan. Like, he's basically been #internal screaming ever since they brought him on. Like, it has been nothing but.
Well, and it was
talking
terrible
about
when-
the rack focus is going from Simcoe to him back to Simcoe, just like, yep, he's back there just kind of going...
That's
But,
his internal monologue.
To this to Abe. Abe's always voicing his concerns, and Townsend's just
internalizing all of it.
yeah.
There's some little part of him going, why?
Speaking
I've been a good Quaker.
yeah.
Why?
Speaking of things that could be shows in and of themselves, we've had more than one person in the hashtag asking about potential spin-off series. I obviously I don't think anything's been announced yet, but
The Adventures of Lafayette.
If there's anything in terms of a Turn spin-off series that you would want to see, what would you like to see?
I'd like to see that.
I mean,
That'd
the
be
man
great.
went
How
back.
cool is he?
He survived the French Revolution. He named one of his sons after George Washington. Straight up named him George
He
Washington.
gives up his French military post to join the Americans, to join the continent. He's got the blue.
Oh, that story.
And
It's
he's-
just phenomenal. If you actually look at his life story, it's incredible. Man,
And the
is
actor
so-
that enacts Brian is on point, with the accent and the language, and
Yeah. Perfect. I think what I would like to see as a spin-off is Philomena and Robert Rogers going off on a pirate adventure together.
Oh my
and
God,
writing
yes.
plays
Yes!
because he wrote plays.
Yes!
He really did write plays.
That would be the
Or
best.
And she can
a
star in
play.
them.
That would be great on a ship.
Yes!
She can star in them.
On a ship, maybe Lafayette ship. I don't know. Maybe.
We just get everybody in there.
I mean, Brewster could come up and be like, a bit of Coast Guard action every now and then, like, come in and out. Maybe you could
It's
bring.
the odd trio.
You could have like a bit of Talmadge would come up every now and then. Woodall
Make
would come up.
cameos for sure.
Yeah, just cameos. Like in the play, in the readings.
Oh my gosh, could
just
you
get-
imagine
yeah.
how Rogers would write those characters? They would be caricatures of themselves.
Roger's writing Simcoe, though.
Oh, he would write such a straw man. Oh, it would be brilliant.
Yep. Shauna says Ben Talmadge also named a son George Washington. I'd be willing to
Did?
bet that there was just a generation of George Washingtons running around there.
Red and Toby says any spin-off with Edmund. And
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Hewlett. I would hope he has some adventures when this is
Anything
all
with
said
Bern
and done.
Goldman. I just.
Yes.
I mean, Bern's in the show. I'll watch. Yeah.
I was really excited for the Pacific Rim 2 trailer that dropped at Comic-Con. Not even gonna lie.
Oh my
I'm really
God.
excited for that. That's
I
gonna
would be too. There's some. He was talking about that. I think he has a pretty interesting take on what they created in the first one and how they moved it into the second. I think there's a bit of progression for him.
When we're off camera, I would love to hear that.
Love to pick his brain on that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about this scene for a little bit because even though he does make the decision to risk everything, that's what ends up happening. He loses everything in this moment, but at the end of the day, he's still able to accomplish what he set out to do.
Well, and he does have a safety net in the form of his father, because his father's still alive, they've still got the farm, etc. But no
that could be
adult
taken
likes to
from
go
them.
back and lean on their parents.
Well, well, and the other thing too is that it's not going to take long before word gets out, because, you know, obviously there's a source. The Rivington's alibi is, oh, well, I didn't do it. The guy who signed over his deed to me, and the night before he mysteriously disappeared, he's your man. He's just giving him a head start.
I think they're both, like, by the time they get to this point, both men are so beaten by the war.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel Rivington by this point is so conflicted, because I think prior to we meeting him, he did have a liberal voice.
Yeah.
And he was turned when it turned on him, the Sons of Liberty, potentially.
I liked that they gave him that little bit of character development.
And I think both of them are so beaten by it, and so it's suggesting throughout the show that the British are so, they're on the losing end, potentially, that the risks are being taken, pretty so exhausted, and, potentially both these men could die from this night's action, and yet they allow it to happen. And I mean, we'll see if it has any effect, but it's just, every scene in this episode, unto itself, is just so poignant and so complete, and it just keeps going up until that end scene where you're like, is the information going to get to Washington? Is Abe going to spend the rest of the war in a ship, in prison again? What's happening?
It happens to him a lot.
We've seen
Was
what
it the
happens.
third time he says? The fourth time?
At least.
How many times I've been here? This is my third time.
And just him screaming, I'm Samuel Culper, I'm Samuel Culper.
When he's been denying
Yeah.
it, I don't want a part of this,
And we know how prisoners were treated on prisoner of war ships during this time.
Yeah.
Super well.
We saw what happened to poor Sela, back in season 1. It is not a good place to be in.
He's looking pretty good these days, though.
Yeah, Sela cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Went to Congress.
Yeah, I talk about he went really far. He did really well for himself. For somebody who was arrested for treason and lost his bar at the very beginning of the series.
And his manner.
Yeah.
He's everything. Yeah.
Everything. I think he's doing pretty well.
And his wife.
Technically.
Did he ever
still married.
really have her, though? Let's be honest. I don't know if he ever really had her heart. No.
so many stories. There's so many spin-offs.
Yes! There's so... could you imagine Anna at the center of a rom-com? Like, this entire series reframed from Anna's point of view as a rom-com.
Love it. And she's actually the master spy behind everything. Like, we don't get to see the full extent of her excellence. Like, she's planting seeds everywhere.
That's the last shot of the series. She's got all these sparrows that talk, you know what I mean? She really does. She's like
she is the master spy. Yeah.
That's the last shot of this series is like Culper and Washington meet and they shake hands and they have this great moment, and then everybody walks out of the room and Anna's just sitting there in a spinny chair going, everything has gone according to plan.
I bet you're wondering why I've gathered you all here tonight.
Or she pulls a house of cards and just turns to the camera and is like, yes, I've known you've been there the whole time. Pulls her Robin right.
Hello, fourth wall. How are you?
That would be actually a House of Cards style series during this time period would also be really interesting.
Oh my God,
Just
that'd be
saying,
amazing.
producers, just saying.
Guys,
just say.
they're like stories
Gold,
for days.
Pearls. Yeah.
There's a lot that can be done, guys.
John Andre, the story.
Oh.
I didn't actually say that specifically to hurt you. It would be interesting.
Getting this thing that you like men in braids, and tights.
Oh no, Andre's her thing.
Oh, Andre's your thing?
Oh
Okay.
yes.
A little bit of a crush, but that's fine.
You don't have the little...
Oh,
last week,
we did
evidently.
last
Okay,
week.
okay.
I think I still have it with me, actually.
Okay. You think you do?
We do. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna.
You haven't sent him on his way?
No,
You're
not
just
yet.
keeping him?
That's not important right now.
Is he here now?
In the back seat.
You're keeping him in the backseat of your car.
Shut up.
Between us,
Traveling Andre is traveling up and down the 101. That's a
safe
voyage.
space.
Yeah.
This is a
It's just
safe
us
space.
three here.
It's
It's
just
Just us three
Yeah.
and the audience.
Yeah.
We've known you were there the whole
Hey,
time.
You guys are cool, right? You're not gonna out me, right? Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
So, yeah, Flat Andre Travels has been in the chat since the beginning.
Oh, have they?
Yes.
That's awesome. Hi, Flat Andre. How you doing?
Shit, that person likes that. They know that idea resonates.
Yeah, just Andre travels the world. I would watch that spinoff.
I'm thinking like Stickly, which absolutely dates me, but I don't care.
Again, if you guys want to see that, follow Flat Andre on Twitter and Instagram. They are hilarious. But we are kind of getting down to sort of wrapping up with this episode. Should we dial into some predictions really quick?
Can we just give a quick shout out to Chomp? Love
Absolutely.
Chomp.
Yes.
Chomp.
I like talking about how he and Abe aren't necessarily the best spies. You have to hand it to him though,
Chomp
because
is pretty focused.
he's very focused and he just looks furious all the time, and I'm pretty sure that's because of the searing pain in his arm.
You're welcome. He's like an anti-Simcoe.
He is.
They don't, because both of them have that wonderful steel gaze that could just level you at any second.
Yeah, that
And that
laser focus
ferocious-
intensity.
Yeah.
But they just happen to be on opposite sides. I like how he says too, like the second he gets the chance, he's
Gonna
gonna
burn the coat?
coat.
What a dude! What a patriot! Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I'm here for a reason. I've already been shot once.
Yeah. By my own
And-
side.
I mean,
yeah.
and here's the thing: if Abe hadn't been slowing him down, he probably would have kidnapped him.
Right. This week's MVP goes to Abraham Woodhull. Yeah.
Did we have something in the chat?
Oh, Flat Andre says he wants to go to In-N-Out after the show. I agree.
We are in California. That would be pretty great.
Hence the jokes about the 101.
But
yes.
yeah, let's delve into some really quick predictions. Really quick.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if I'm...
Where is that coming from?
Well, the studio's
Wouldn't
haunted.
you like to know?
I think what really throws people off is when we have the soundboard with the live studio audience, and they're like, "Oh, thank you, thank you."
No light show today, though.
I'm just gonna assume
Perfectly
that's
on
the
point.
chat.
You can cue them.
Thank you, Neil. But yeah, so based on the preview from next week, it looks like Hewlett and Simcoe are like that storyline is going to be resolved.
Take a bite.
Jesus.
Oh, it's as good as it looks.
Oh, good.
Maybe you shouldn't have killed the horse. I'm just saying.
Some good old-fashioned sadism.
But yeah, I feel like this episode was a lot of dominoes being put into
Right.
place, which I love because you're getting like all these little microcosms finally coming together.
Oh, I think
feel
we've
like,
seen the first few dominoes start to fall.
Yeah, that's
Starting with Simcoe.
that's that's what the
Bye.
next two episodes are really going to be, and I'm with you. I feel like Yorktown is going to be a big part of. Maybe not the next episode, but definitely the next two. Maybe even it's a two-parter. Maybe the battle starts at the end of next episode, and then we wrap up the Battle of Yorktown. And yeah, I don't know. That's a thought.
Airedale says justice for Bucephalus. And Jack Turner, who joins us at the end, says, "No way! Just joined and there's Caleb!"
Hi, Jack. Welcome aboard, brother.
How you doing? Welcome.
This'll be up
We
on
tape an
iTunes.
hour earlier, so you know.
This is
So next week, tune in an hour earlier, and we'll be here, and you can see the whole show.
And this is literally up on YouTube as soon as we're done. So you just refresh the page and you'll be good to go.
Hashtag justice for Bucephalus. Yeah, I'm putting that on a shirt. Be tweeting that out tomorrow morning.
That'd be great. So yeah, I feel like that does it for predictions. Dan, thank you so much for taking
so
the time
welcome.
to
Thanks for having me.
come onto the show and
What a
talk
blast.
about being Caleb. Do you guys have any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
Yeah, sure. There's a film that I was a part of, or lucky enough to be part of, that has just come out on Netflix called Okja.
Ooh.
I've been hearing a lot about that.
Yeah, it's by a wonderful filmmaker called Bong Joon-ho.
I've seen
going to see-
advertisements for that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the movie is bonkers but brilliant. Got a great cast: Tilda Swinton, Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano, Stephen Yeun, Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah.
And you.
And me and other great actors as well. It's bonkers. It's a great ride. And give it a crack. It's on Netflix now. You can also see it at the New Beverly this Sunday. That's the only place that has a film print of it.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get into it.
well, any final thoughts then on this episode and on the journey that has been Turn Washington Spies as a whole?
Me personally, it's been brilliant. I've made great friends, and I have new family. I have been paid to do that, which is always brilliant.
It's always a
What
plus.
a bonus.
Yeah.
I've gotten to play a wonderful character that has been fleshed out to the fullest, and that has been a blessing when you get to do something that you love, and then to do it with great people. So it's been a wonderful ride, and I've learnt much about the beginnings of this country that I wouldn't have had I not had the chance to be a part of this show. And you guys, all the fans out there have made it such a wonderful thing. Oh yeah, they do. This is a little heart thing that people do as well. Do you do that one?
No,
Little
I haven't.
heart.
Huh.
Little heart. They just put your little thing, little heart.
Aw.
It's like a smaller version
Oh,
of
I
it. It's a
get
little bit
it. I
easier.
get it. Aw.
Little heart to all the fans, because the fans on this show
Oh, I got it.
are
now.
ridiculously loyal. Do you get it?
Yeah, just like, where's the heart? Oh,
There it
A little
is.
shake.
there's the ventricle. And
But thank you, so much love, and it makes me blush constantly to go on social media. That's my phone. I'm pointing. So thank you guys,
Well,
and
it's
thank you for having me. It's
Of
been real fun.
course.
thanks for coming.
Sorry it took me so long.
it's,
Hey, you made it, and that's
Yeah.
what counts. You're just like
Yeah.
Jack. You showed up before
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
well, we know you guys are super busy and, with traveling, and so it really does mean a lot when you guys come down and take time out of your guys' busy schedules to talk about this show. So thank you
course.
so much for doing
Of
that.
course.
Where can people go if they want to keep up with you and with all of these upcoming projects?
Oh, I have a Twitter account. It's my name.
Daniel _Henshall.
Yeah, that's the one. And I have I Instagram, and that's at Henshall Son. Yeah, those two things. You can come and join the party.
Well,
All
again,
right.
cannot say thank you enough. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
You can follow me all over the social medias and on YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you want to watch any other shows I'm on, Robots in Disguise is on now. It's Tuesdays at 7. And I am also on Geek and Sundry's Gather Your Party, Friday nights at 9:30 on twitch.tv/Geek and Sundry. I'm also starting streaming, and my Twitch is also Kiaxet because branding. So keep an eye out for that. Branding.
There, imagination.
Branding.
And I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I also have an Instagram with that same handle. I do a bunch of shows here on AfterBuzz TV, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. And be sure to check out the season finale of The Shadow Radio Recreation, where I do the voice of Margot Lane. It's a fun time. Well, thank you guys so much. Dan, thank you so much
course.
again
Thank you
for
for having
coming
me.
in.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
2 episodes left. We will see
more.
you back here next
2 more.
week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil